Meet our top student, the smartest kid in the whole school. While the cool crowd is busy chasing girls, Jay is busy sharpening his mind. But even for those who only study, there are girls who find them irresistible. Take Mia, she cannot look away from the student council president. One day, the nerd who never even thinks about fighting showed up at school bruised and beat. Everyone was stunned. No one in the school could imagine what happened. Jay is on track to hit #1 in the national rankings. He follows every rule perfectly. But then, one day, everything changed. The teacher introduced the new American transfer student to the class. She happens to be the principal's granddaughter. So everyone has to be on their best behavior. When she spots Jay in class, she just leans in and kisses him right in front of everyone. That scene breaks the internet, especially for Mia, who is deeply in love with Jay. Check this out. Even the principal was watching her first day of school right through the window. Our main character was totally lost. He had never seen this girl before. But Shell, she just locked eyes with the boy next to her and said, "Ordinary boy, I want your seat." Of course. The boy didn't refuse the polite request. Later, students who barely even knew Jay crowded him, asking since when he had a 10 out of 10 girlfriend. The only sad person there was Mia. But to understand this, we have to go back a few days. Meet our guy, Jay. Even though he lives right by the school, he insists on riding his old bike. Why? Simple. School is just too boring. He needs that morning adrenaline. On the way, everything is just another obstacle. He weaves through traffic like he's waiting for a call from Red Bull. Absolute madman. Workers dive for cover, while couples kissing in the street get a scare too. Then comes the suicide slope. Most people are afraid to even walk down this hill. Not Jay. He hits it at full speed, hurtling down with zero fear of falling. At the bottom, he pulls a crazy skid to stop. The school's popular kids watched, and they were not happy. Nobody likes seeing a random guy farm more aura than them. Some were impressed. Others, they decided Jay needed to be taught a serious lesson. Another day begins, and everyone around Jay is whining about the usual school drama. Jay ignores the noise. He's locked in, focusing entirely on his books and notes. He's paying no attention to anyone. But while Jay's reflecting on how unmotivated he feels, Mia's nearby watching him. She's surprised when her friend asks what she's thinking about. Her friend wanted to know if Mia had been studying hard for the big exams. Smiling, Mia replied that Mia was just coasting, hitting the books occasionally. Her friend urged her to focus. Or else she'd totally bomb those upcoming exams. Her friend really believed in her. Balance is everything, right? We see Mia had a specific view of the council. President, she figured he was just a boring study machine with zero hobbies. But Mia always stepped up when anyone started talking trash behind his back. She had endless praise for him. To her, Jay was just special, truly incredible. And that's when the truth came out. Mia was totally head over heels for Jay. There's the red-haired guy in the black jacket. Girls loved him. Mew was legendary. Especially among the class girls. When Yuna noticed him, she had to comment that his arrival made everyone's heart race. But watch how he reacts, though. He straight up calls her grandma. Let's just say Yuna is definitely not laughing. Especially after Mew sticks his tongue out and adds another snarky comment. Yuna is reaching her limit. She's beyond irritated. Her friend tries to keep the peace, but Yuna finally snaps. Every insult in the book comes flying out, but even in her rage, she is still stunning. Dom Kang is just standing there in awe. He's totally mesmerized by every single angry expression. He finds her adorable. Mew, on the other hand, he has seen enough of his sister's temper. He decides to make a run for it, acting like they aren't even related. Classic. Meanwhile, Jay is in his own world, buried in his books. Then comes Mew again. As Mew tries to escape his sister, he swings by to say hello. Jay, total silence. The cold shoulder doesn't stop Mew. He is not backing down that easily. Jay finally looks up. You and I both know he is busy, but Mew won't quit. Mew seizes the moment. He invites Jay to join the crew, hoping for a yes. He actually captures Jay's attention. That downhill maneuver he did, it was legendary. Mew mentions the whole team was shook, Seeing Jay descend like that, pure skill. A single skid to take that slope. It is the kind of stuff they only see in movies. Plus, finding out the student council president is a secret pro cyclist. Total plot twist. Mew makes it clear. He came here specifically to recruit him into their inner circle. And crickets again, Jay is back to being a brick wall of silence. Mew keeps trying. He is desperate for a reaction. Yuna watches from a distance, confused by this weird dynamic. Since when were they friends? Mia is just as curious, wondering what the big secret is. But for Jay, it is simple. He just wants the noise to stop. He has to study. Mew just cannot believe Jay is not interested at all. Is he for real? Minwoo finally starts to walk away, muttering under his breath. He apologizes for the interruption, but grumbles that guys like Jay are just plain irritating. Jay acts like he doesn't hear it, but a tiny spark of curiosity is actually lit. Bicycles, the word echoes. It takes him back to when he was 13 years old. His uncle gave him a bike back then, a special gift for a boy always studying. He told him that fresh air is just as important as getting those perfect grades. He promised that once Jay got better at riding, they would go on epic trips together. The bell rings. Students spill out into the halls, chatting about their day. Yuna and Mia are venting. Being a teenager, it is way too much stress. Yuna expected high school to be romantic and exciting. Instead, it is just the same old routine. Same thing every single day. Mia tells her to lighten up. Life isn't that bad. There are plenty of adventures waiting. Yuna isn't exactly feeling the hype yet. She's tired of the books and the desks. She needs some fun, and she needs it now. Mia stays positive. They just have to survive until the next holiday break. Suddenly, Dom Kang pops up. Does Yuna want to watch a zombie movie? She jumps out of her skin. She screams at him to stop being so loud. Time for a little punishment. She told him before, showing up like that is total stalker behavior. Seriously, it is creepy. But after taking a hit, Dom Kang realizes something very important. Yuna can really throw a punch. Once he recovers, he is back at it, mentioning his big TV. He's desperate to watch it on a 90-inch LED TV. Meanwhile, Jay is at the window. He watches everyone leave while he packs his gear for the day. Backpack ready, he turns around and surprise, it is Mew again. He came back once things got quiet. Stick around, Mew isn't giving up that easily. Jay was just trying to study, but Mew insisted on giving him a choice about joining. Mew wasn't taking no for an answer. He brought up a big race happening tonight. Tonight was the night. A rival was looking to see what Jay could do. Jay looked him straight in the eyes, claiming he hadn't even started riding yet. He told Mew to stop bothering him and go play with his friends instead. But Mew persisted, bringing up a guy named TJ Kin from their local circle. TJ had been trash-talking Jay's bike, calling it nothing but a piece of junk. TJ even said he hated people who acted like their bike specs actually mattered. Turns out, TJ had been watching Jay ride for a while and wanted a showdown. The challenge was set. Green Park tonight, the ultimate stage for a confrontation. You and I can see Jay was clearly bothered by those insults about his bike. Fast forward to nightfall. Green Park was alive with noise and flashing lights. It was the place to be. Every cyclist in the city was out tonight. Some were just chilling, while others were pulling off some absolutely insane tricks. They were proving that biking is about way more than just racing fast. Team Zephys was stealing the spotlight, drawing a massive crowd with their skills. Mew was locked in and focused until his buddy June decided to prank him. June slapped a freezing energy drink against his face, making him jump in surprise. Take it easy, June laughed, handing him the drink. Mew was sure Jade'd show. Minwoo just sighed and looked at the crowd. Nothing left to do but wait. June suggested they just race themselves if Jay decided to be a no-show. Then he asked the big question, why are you so obsessed with Jay? Minwoo gets defensive. I'm not obsessed. Speak lower before people get the wrong idea. June figured you don't need a reason to ride. It's all about the feeling. Seeing Jay ride, it was obvious the guy had years of experience under his belt. It would be way better for Jay to join them than riding alone forever. Suddenly, another group approached. "Where's that school snob?" they demanded to know. Jay was running late, but Mew asked the group to wait a little longer. They started whispering that Jay was probably too scared to show his face. Mew shut them down. He knew Jay wasn't the type to run away. "He will be here," Mew promised. "Let's do a warm-up while we wait." The rivals laughed. They thought Mew was weak because of his bad leg. But then Jay finally shows up. The moment we've been waiting for is here. People started whispering about all the crazy things Jay had done before. He remarked that it was a shame because Mew really wanted to race that carbon bike. TJ looked at the newcomer. "So this is the guy I'm supposed to beat." TJ stepped forward, trying to see if this guy was actually the challenger. TJ offered a handshake, claiming he was certain Jay was going to flake out. But Jay just ignored his hand entirely. The ultimate cold shoulder, as usual. "What's your problem?" TJ snapped. Mew just breathed a sigh of relief. Jay did not have time for games. He told them to get to business. Jay explained that June would outline how everything was going to work. June waved from a distance, trying his best not to get ignored too. "Hey everyone, I'm June Lee, third-year student at Sunny High School." Minwoo was shocked to see June acting so polite and formal all of a sudden. Jack Joe chimes in, introducing himself as a second-year student. He breaks down the race rules, a simple, high-stakes one-on-one duel. First person to make it back to the starting line wins it all. Jay knows the path, but safety marshals are stationed at every corner. They are there to keep things fair and make sure no one crashes. Mew points out the opponent, that arrogant guy over there, TJ. Jay is cold as ice, telling Mew to stop bothering him about the team. June hands Jay a helmet, practically begging him to stay in one piece. Mew notices something crazy. Jay stripped his brakes to shed every ounce of weight. TJ starts talking trash, daring Jay to keep up on that total junk bike. Mew shuts him down, telling TJ to save the ego for the road. TJ is annoyed. Why does Mew always have to be such a show-off? Then comes the announcement. The entire race is being caught on film. The setup is simple. Gear drops, pedals spin, and the battle begins. The announcer holds the gear high, telling everyone to lock in. He lets go, it hits the asphalt, and just like that, they are off. TJ takes the early lead, thanks to his ultralight professional bike. But June knows the real fight starts when they hit top speed. June scrambles into position, desperate to catch every epic second. TJ keeps mocking him, calling the bike a piece of trash. TJ tells him to get used to seeing his back. Big mistake. That insult only pushes Jay to hammer those pedals even harder. TJ glances back and freezes. Jay is closing in way too fast. The gap is shrinking. TJ is forced to push his speed into the red. A sharp curve is coming. Time for TJ to play dirty with some cones. He dodges obstacles daily. Easy work for him. June spots the foul play instantly. What is this guy thinking? The cone clips him. For a second, Jay actually loses his balance. June screams out a warning. There is a huge danger right ahead. A car pulls out. A head-on collision looks absolutely unavoidable. But Jay does not flinch. He uses that car as a launch pad. He pulls an insane stunt, leaving TJ absolutely fuming in his wake. June films everything, knowing this footage is total gold. Jay recovers instantly, pedaling even harder and picking up massive speed. He is flying now. The distance between them is disappearing in a heartbeat. June finally breathes. Thank God that did not end in a total disaster. He lets TJ have it, screaming at him to stop acting so reckless. TJ just shrugs it off with a fake apology. Whoops, his foot slipped. June keeps the camera rolling, keeping a close eye on TJ's next move. Honestly, he is in awe. Jay's skill and reaction time are next level. He only wishes the rest of the class could see this live. The chase is still on. Jay is breathing down TJ's neck now. Side by side, Jay is ready to end this ridiculous little game. TJ thinks it is all talk, just a desperate attempt to rattle him. But look, a sharp curve ahead, and TJ is already hatching another nasty plan. All right, you and I need to watch this corner. He's definitely plotting a move. A weakness spotted, but instead of braking, TJ just hammers the pedals even harder. Jay, though, he sees racing differently. He leans into that curve with skill. Pure perfection. Now TJ has front row seats to the Jay show and maneuvers. Just look at those moves. He even pulls off a flawless drift right now. Seriously, a drift. By the time they clear the bend, Jay is leading. Jay is gone. You can see the pure frustration boiling over on TJ's face. Meanwhile, Jay is just vibing. He's totally in the zone and loving every second. June is losing it. She never imagined anyone could drift a bike like that. Where did Jay even learn to ride like that? She's completely baffled by him. It's like magic. That beat-up old bike has basically become a part of his body. Then there's TJ. He's stuck behind, fuming because he can't even close the gap. It's humiliating. How is his expensive carbon bike losing to that literal piece of junk? While TJ is busy raging, he looks up and sees Jay waving back at him. Jay shouts back that TJ can enjoy the view from behind. Total savage move. That's the breaking point. TJ starts pedaling like a madman in a desperate speed burst. He's furious, yelling that it's not over yet. He's not letting Jay win easily. He swears he'll catch up soon, but Jay just glances back with a stare. He tells TJ not to bother. His goal is to end this in 4 minutes. Jay knows what TJ is thinking. Don't get cocky just because you are ahead. Honestly, Jay hates everyone at school. To him, they are all just total idiots. The distance between them just keeps growing. Fast, June is starting to get worried. She's praying nothing goes wrong, just wanting everyone to get home in one piece. Jay is barely breaking a sweat, while TJ is pushing to his absolute limit. TJ is losing his mind. He refuses to let some nobody surpass him like this. He's betting everything on the final hill, but for Jay, this is no challenge. He's already pulled off harder moves. June is trailing behind, filming the whole thing. Stick with me, this is where it gets wild. June screams to slow down. And look, there's a huge fence right at the bottom. June is terrified here. If they don't time this right, someone is going to get seriously hurt. But do they listen? Nope. Neither of them has any intention of hitting brakes. Jay is a pro. He flies down the hill and clears the fence easily. He just taps the edge to keep his momentum. Pure master class. He doesn't even flinch, just keeps pedaling like it was nothing at all. But TJ, he's in trouble. He's coming in way too fast on that slope. He's got too much speed and that fence is coming up fast. It's bad. He slams on the brakes, but it's too late. He's not stopping in time. There's no way out. He's heading straight for a collision with the fence. Boom, he hits the fence hard and his bike goes flying. Total disaster. June rolls up slowly and sees the wreck. Jay stops too, looking back. He heads over to check the damage. Once he sees TJ is officially out. He just slows down. He gives him that look, you know it, and sighs. He calls TJ a loser and just pedals away casually. Talk about an insult. TJ is left crawling off the pavement, while June rushes over to check him. His body is stinging from the crash, but man, his ego took the hit. Everyone was just killing time, but Mew was locked into his bike game. He was deep in the zone until he heard the news, they're back. He couldn't believe how fast they finished. Talk about high-speed excitement. Plus, he just shattered his own record. Then word hits, the Sunny cyclist won. That means TJ actually lost. His crew was in total shock and disbelief. They were worried sick, but Mew figured all that TJ hype was just empty. The guy finally got what was coming to him, pure karma at work. But then Mew's own words hit him. It's not about the machine. It's the rider that counts. He had to see that race footage immediately. Day stares Mew down, reminding him of all that trash talk from before. He rips off his helmet, tosses it to Mew, and flips his hood back. Don't you dare bother me at school with those annoying race stories again. He brushes past everyone, looking cool as ice. Man, that guy is tough. Minwoo is practically vibrating. He needs to know every detail of the finish. But the second he hears the truth, his face drops in complete shock. He sees Jay literally carrying a broken TJ, desperately calling for first aid. People are panicking, asking what happened and shouting for a hospital trip now. TJ is gritting his teeth, absolutely humiliated by this entire pathetic scene. Even in pain, his ego is massive. He wants the person responsible found. Back at home, Jay finds a cold, empty house. Mom's on duty again. His brother, Keijo, is waiting, instantly suspicious that he's been out biking. Jay just ignores the noise, bending over to take off his dusty shoes. His brother starts the usual lecture about university goals and entrance exams. He's yelling that Jay shouldn't waste time biking. Then, the vibe shifts. But check this out, everything changes once Kitty Hour starts on TV. He's jumping with pure joy. His favorite cartoon is finally on screen. He's so hyped he slams his toe into a corner. Ouch, that hurts. He's rolling in agony, but the pain vanishes once the anime starts. That miserable face is gone, replaced by pure, starry-eyed fascination with the screen. Jay looks mature, but he's a total sucker for cute cat shows. Keijo uses the distraction to escape and grab a quick shower. He needs to wash away the sweat and stress from today's race. Under the water, those intense race moments start playing back on loop. A strange feeling washes over him. He's never felt this electric before. He's never felt this way before. Next day, Jay preps for school. He checks his tires. They're totally shredded from the race yesterday. This is bad news. As he stares at the damage, Keijo appears. His brother is hovering again, asking what's wrong with the junk bike. He wants to know if Jay is actually riding that thing to school. Looking at Jay, Keijo thinks his brother is officially bike-obsessed. Jay just ignores him. He doesn't care if riding is a waste. Keijo thinks students shouldn't burn all their energy before first period. Jay is ready to roll. He gives a quick goodbye, leaving. You have to wonder, what exactly is this kid going to become? He's just standing there looking all serious when a spotted cat appears. A cat suddenly appears, frozen. KJ had been chasing this same stray for quite a while. He'd done it before, and right now, he felt the urge to start the chase once more. Meanwhile, Mia is rushing after nearly missing the bus. And today, it's totally packed. Stuffed into that overheated bus, she's basically a sardine in a tin can. Stuck in terrible traffic, Jay is just cycling along, soaking up that fresh morning breeze. Inside the bus, everyone is complaining about how chaotic the morning traffic has become. Mia just looks around, feeling totally disconnected from everything. Suddenly, her eyes lock onto something outside that makes her whole world stop. Talk about a blush. It's her crush just casually riding past the bus on his bicycle. Watching him ride, she suddenly forgets how miserable this cramped bus ride actually is. Even the boys notice it. Turns out, a bike can actually be way faster than the slow bus. Now they're thinking they might need a faster, much cooler bike of their own. Meanwhile, inside a fancy luxury car, another young guy is stuck in the same gridlock. He's grumbling, but his driver can't do much except slowly crawl toward the school. But then he sees that cyclist. He knows that guy will reach school way before he does. He tells the driver he'd honestly rather be on a bike than stuck inside this car any longer. While Jay keeps pedaling, he's approached by the principal, who's also a huge fan of cycling. Jay looks over and spots the principal riding right alongside him on his own bike. The principal mentions that biking is the perfect way to get some exercise in the morning. To Jay, it feels totally normal to see his principal riding a bicycle to school like this. This principal is a fit guy who always commutes to the office on 2 wheels. Jay knows to be careful because cyclists aren't always welcome on the road. Sidewalks and roads are pretty unsafe, and cyclists are always on high alert. Sadly, even bike lanes aren't totally safe. With a smile, the principal chimes in. He tells Jay to save the talk for later and tells him to pick up the pace. Jay laughs, noting the principal and the council president can't be late. They arrive at the school entrance, where there's already some major drama going down. Several students are being held back, including one particular second-year student. He's being called out for his flashy behavior and lack of a proper school uniform. He tries to slip by, but gets caught because of that wild, unusual hair color. They actually ask him if he accidentally spilled a whole carton of orange juice on his head. To make matters worse, he's missing his badge and doesn't even have a backpack. He claims he just left them at school, but that's definitely not the answer they wanted. When Jay and the principal pull up, they walk right into this early morning chaos. The principal steps in, wanting to know exactly what is going on here. The staff member explains that they're just trying to enforce the school's conduct code. The principal sighs, saying this really isn't the best way to kick off the morning. Funny enough, all the students getting caught seem to be the most attractive ones. He wants to make sure the school's image stays clean and that everyone dresses right. Every single one of them puts on a fake innocent face, promising to do better. They swear they'll maintain a good appearance, but right after that, they take off like a bunch of mischievous kids, but that orange-haired guy stops. He pauses as some beautiful girls enter the scene, listening closely to their chatter. He wonders where all these stunning girls suddenly came from. Then, he's spotted. Since he's small and cute, he catches their eye and they invite him over. Them at lunch, the principal noticed the boy still had his youthful charm. The janitor reminded the principal about the morning lecture on his current schedule. Back in the classroom, it was noisy, people chatting and others trying to sleep. Yuna was showing her phone to Mia, displaying a photo of the principal with some notes she called material for the lecture. He had style, and Yuna caught Mia staring at someone. She asked what was up. Mia was actually just watching Jay arrive on his bike. Yuna teased her immediately, saying that someone in this room was clearly in love. Suddenly, Yuna's admirer, that guy with the band-aid mustache, started calling out for her. She playfully chucked a book at his forehead and told him to stop shouting. He just realized it was her secret way of showing that she liked him. While all this commotion happened in the classroom, Jay was in the corner reading. Some boys in the class were talking about a viral bicycle race video they saw. Even those who hated bikes were interested. Jay said he'd seen June's recording too. The girls with Mew wanted to know how he knew the student council president. Mia was a very brave girl, always paying close attention to everything during the class. Meanwhile, a boy who clearly admired Mia was fast asleep at his desk. Everyone in the classroom was somewhat bored, except for those who were currently sleeping. They were probably dreaming about getting scolded by Yuna. Occasionally, Mia would look over. She'd glance at her crush to see if he finally noticed her there. Even if he didn't look back, just imagining it made her blush like crazy. At one point he did look, but his gaze was completely indifferent to her. Perhaps he didn't see her and was just gazing at the clouds outside. Everyone was leaving when someone noticed Jay from afar, preparing to ride again. Unable to resist, Dom Kang wanted to ride for a second and asked him. Dom Kang was completely ignored and had no choice but to watch Jay leave. From a distance, Jade approached and told Dom he couldn't borrow that bike. He warned him that he would probably just break it if he tried. Dom Kang felt much calmer when he heard Yuna's voice approaching them. Radiating pure happiness, Dom asked Yuna if she noticed how beautiful his skin was. Yuna replied that his face was just oily from sleeping through the entire class. Dom Kang insisted, repeatedly telling Yuna to stop pretending she didn't like him. He claimed he'd noticed her watching him while he was asleep at his desk. That's when Yuna playfully kicked the back of his leg and asked for silence. On his way home, Jay was riding his bike when he heard a strange noise. Jay stopped to check and realized his bike finally had a flat tire. That's when TJ and his friends arrived, asking Jay if he needed some help. They mocked his bike, calling it a piece of junk. Jay barely recognized TJ. With those glasses and strange face, Jay asked if they had met before. Dom Kang was walking calmly, feeling like he'd won Yuna's affection that day. His body was sore. Since he'd overslept, he needed to hurry to work. That's when Dom Kang saw Jay from afar, the guy who'd ignored him earlier. Dom noticed Jay wasn't alone. Some troublemakers seemed to be bothering him. TJ asked if Jay had slept well, because TJ himself hadn't at all. His forehead still hurt. Jay stood there, completely unsure who this guy was. Jay had no idea. Jay asks who he is. TJ's livid, thinking he's being mocked. He kicks the bike, accusing Jay of being cocky over junk. Seeing his ride on the pavement, Jay finally hits his limit. TJ rants about that pile of nothing, humiliating him before everyone. Now Jay's ignoring him too, but he's done with the talk. One punch to shut him up, and for the bike kick. Jay isn't exactly a fighter. The punch barely has any effect. It's just enough to make TJ and his friends go ballistic. They jump him, stomping on Jay and his broken glasses. TJ crouches down. How you gonna show your face in class? He asks if Jay remembers him now, still no clue. TJ decides his memory needs another brutal round of pain. Then Dom King speaks up, bold and drawing every eye. TJ sees him and scoffs. Just another loser, he thinks. Dom laughs. Funny how bullies always fight 3 against 1. He drops his bag on the ground. It's go time. Cracking his knuckles, Dom prepares to join the brawl. You lost, kid, TJ asks, but his buddies are whispering. They're asking if TJ even knows who this guy is. Their eyes are wide, warning him that Dom is dangerous. Whatever they said, it's enough to make TJ back out. He glares at Jay, hating the fools from that school. Thank Dom, he spits. Consider yourself lucky for today. The bullies vanish before things can get any more serious. Dom realizes his reputation alone is enough to clear the area. He's pretty intimidating, even if he doesn't mean to be. He offers Jay a hand, but Jay just ignores it. Jay stands up, I'm fine, forget about me and leave. Dom's confused. Why does everyone around here act like this? Nearby, Mino's walking with 2 girls, heading toward karaoke. But TJ is right there, having just left the fight. Sarcastic as always, must be nice having money for girls. Mino sees Jay up ahead and cancels all his plans. He apologizes to the girls, promising to reschedule later on. The girls are disappointed as Mino rushes to his friend. Dom's trying to tell Jay his bike is a total wreck. Mino appears, shocked by the state of Jay's bruised face. Dom explains the ambush he just interrupted, 3 against 1. It's clear these guys were back for some petty revenge. Jay looks at him, satisfied, now just leave me alone. Mino feels terrible for dragging Jay into this mess. Dom tells him to forget the team stuff for now. But he's worried, go to a pharmacy, you're hurt, man. Jay ignores the advice, walking away with his broken bike. The path forward for this group looks more broken than ever. Jay, stubborn as ever, refuses help, but Dom can see he's clearly hurting. Dom offers to walk him home, but Jay tells him to basically get lost. Tired of the endless arguing, Dom Kang decides it is time for a shortcut. He steps in close, and before Jay can even react, things get very quiet. One swift hit and Jay is out cold. Mino is shocked by the move. He asks why Dom went that far, but Dom says it was necessary. Trust me, Dom says, would have been way more brutal than that. Mino still thinks hitting an injured guy is crazy, but Dom has a point. Without that punch, they would have just stood there arguing all day long. Dom slaps Jay over his shoulder and tells Mino to grab the bike. Mino asks where they are headed, and honestly, Dom has no clue. It turns out neither of them actually knows where Jay even lives. Nearby girls watch, thinking Dom's being a total jerk. Mino hits the pharmacy. He grabs medicine and bandages, while Dom accidentally drops something on the ground. Now they are just standing there over an unconscious Jay, completely lost. They have no address and no plan. It is a bit of a disaster. Just then, they spot a random guy nearby checking his phone screen. On his screen is a white cat. This is Joe, Jay's little brother. He was just heading home for a second before his next college class. But the loud voices of some guys nearby catch his attention immediately. He assumes they are Sunny High bullies standing over some poor victim. He takes a closer look at the face of the guy on the floor. Wait, that is his brother, that is Jay. KJ freezes in pure shock. He accidentally shouts out, making Dom and Mino look over at him. Dom thinks he heard the kid mention Jay's name. Mino heard it too. Terrified, KJ realizes these scary guys are staring him down. He is panicked. He thinks he is their next target. Mino wonders if the kid knows Jay. Dom suspects a connection, but the kid tries to play it totally cool. Avoiding eye contact, KJ claims he doesn't know Jay and walks away. Dom isn't buying it. He is absolutely sure he heard the name Jay. Mino is watching closely, realizing this kid looks familiar for a reason. The pieces start falling into place. This kid is the spitting image of Jay. He's like a younger version. They realize the kid was lying through his teeth. That is definitely Jay's brother, and he just tried to ditch his own family. They can't believe KJ walked past his unconscious brother like a stranger. Angry, they want to know why he's acting calm while clearly running away. Dom hoists Jay back up while Mino grabs the bike to give chase. They start tailing K-Jo down the street. Things are getting intense now. Eventually, the air clears and KJ realizes they aren't actually villains. He understands they are Jay's friends. They ask why he tried to run. KJ admits he was scared they were going to beat him up too. He finally says he will take care of Jay, which makes Dom reflect. Dom realizes how selfish he's been. KJ looks at the two of them. He mentions that despite the trouble, it seems Jay found some good friends. They finally reach the house and get Jay inside where he belongs. Inside the room, Dom Kang starts patching him up with bandages. After cleaning Jay's forehead, Dom finishes his masterpiece, doing everything he possibly could. Now, it is up to the patient. K-Jo cannot believe his brother has such unbearable friends. Mino asks about the bandage under Dom Kang's nose. Dom reveals he has his own secret. Mino is curious and pulls it off to see what is underneath. Seeing the truth, Mino says if the principal saw that, Dom Kang would be in big trouble. Mino asks Ko if anyone else is home. Looking around the room, Mino notices it is a typical boys' room. KJ Joe is staring at the security feed. He is watching to make sure nothing gets stolen. The more KJ Joe talks, the more Mino thinks he resembles his annoying brother. Dom and Mino keep digging through the room until they find a photo of Jay's uncle and a childhood bicycle. Mino gets close to show the frame, but Dom finds it strange for him to be so close. Dom realizes the kid in the image cannot be K-Jo. Not that annoying boy, then they notice he looks kind. It is Jay. Mew notes Jay had that bike forever. He has owned it since he was tiny. Why show up for the race after saying he wouldn't? Dom finds it odd that Mew is whispering. After watching him, Dom starts noticing that the boy before him is gradually transforming into Yuna. Dom thinks he is hallucinating. This boy looks exactly like Yuna. It is wild. Embarrassed, Dom wonders if he has just been feeling lonely lately. Until now, Minu and Dom hadn't been close enough friends with Jay to know they were twins. Mew thinks it is a family photo. He cannot remember the boy. Suddenly, Jay wakes up, face covered in bandages, and asks what they are doing in his house. The duo exchange glances. Did you finally wake up? Did you sleep well? Jay gets up and snatches the photo frame right out of their hands. Angry, Jay tells them to keep their dirty hands off. Get out. Mew grabs a mirror to show Jay his reflection. We only brought you here to take care of you. Dom looks proud. No need to thank him, he was just doing his duty. In a flash, Dom rips every bandage off Jay's face. Jay isn't interested in arguing. He is tired and wants them to leave. Dom puts a hand on Jay's shoulder. You are really sending us away. Mew and Dom conclude that Jay is being very unkind after they helped him. Now, they decide to open Pandora's box. They check Jay's computer. Jay tells them not to mess with it, but they ignore him completely. While Mew pins Jay down, Dom examines everything Jay has been studying. Dom smiles at the screen. I am going to show you the dark path, Jay. This is an entirely new world. You should be happy we met. But Jay still does not want them on his computer. Meanwhile, KJ thinks it is better to head to class right now. Those three were wasting way too much time. Finally, Dom Kang finished. The link was finally live. Dom asked if they were ready, but then J.S. brother burst through the door. One look at the screen and he knew. They were staring into the forbidden world. The whole crew crowded the monitor. They were glued to the content on the screen. Everyone was blushing, including Jay's brother, who was actually fuming. These idiots had downloaded a bunch of junk. His computer was a total mess now. He paused for a moment, hesitant, as he checked if anyone was coming, but before Jay's brother could even hit delete on that video, Jay walked back in. He was there too. Pass along a message from their mother. Nearby, Minu and Dom were talking. They were debating the video. Minu loved the style and suggested more hangouts. They agreed to meet at school tomorrow, since they both had busy schedules. Then, Minu remembered his part. time shift right after school let out. He wanted to end the day on a high note, seizing the moment. Mew saw a perfect chance. He pulled the whole team together and called an emergency meeting for tonight. He made sure everyone was coming. TJ and his crew specifically needed to be there. Soon, everyone had gathered. They showed up for Mew, but the room was full of complaints. TJ just smirked. He told them if they had a problem, tell Mew. People wondered if something went down between the two. Why the special invite? TJ played it cool, acting like he didn't know why he was there. He claimed this was just Mew being Mew. Classic dramatic behavior, he said. But June spoke up. Mew started this team, so he deserved some respect. He insisted there must be a real reason for calling everyone out tonight. TJ laughed it off, saying June was just protecting his school buddy. June felt the sting of those words, but before he could fire back, he saw Mew arriving. He walked in with an incredibly heavy, serious look. Something big was definitely up. TJ, though, he just kept on joking. The jokes were falling flat. Mew was getting more irritated by the second. He adjusted his jacket and slid a ring off. Things were about to get real. Mew announced he was settling this now and stepped toward TJ. He threw a massive punch right to the jaw. TJ hit the floor hard. He was dazed, needing a hand to stand. The whole room was shocked. Everyone wanted answers for this violence. Then Mew finally spoke his mind. He told TJ to stop trash, talking the team and get out right now. Leave while you still can, Mew warned. Everyone was left totally speechless. TJ was fuming, demanding to know why he got hit. Mew didn't blink. Don't play dumb, he snapped. I don't want losers messing with our members. TJ just smirked. You mean that idiot student council president? Is that it? He claimed Mew was blind to the truth. That guy started it first. It was a total provocation. Then TJ dropped a real bombshell on them. He boldly claimed Mew was the one who should quit the team instead. TJ was clearly making a power move. June watched the chaos unfold, worried. It was getting out of control. TJ claimed the team was done with Mew. They are sick of you, he sneered. Mew immediately issued a final challenge. All right, no more whispering behind his back. Now they're saying it directly. Let's hear them. Every single grievance comes out. They're sick of these sudden meetings with zero warning. They mention that since TJ isn't even officially on the roster yet, he has a point. Maybe he has a point. It's not right to force someone out without a vote. Mew dragged them all here just to kick TJ out. They are not happy about this. TJ grins, turning back to Mew. Look around, everybody is fed up with your attitude. Then, the low blow. TJ points out that Mew hasn't even been cycling lately. He claims Mew just spends his time chasing girls instead of training. Then comes the mockery. Just go buy your own club with your daddy's money. It would be easy for you. June steps in, trying to stop the fight. That's enough. You have both crossed the line. Mew has heard enough. Fine, let's settle this with a race. Losers leave the team. June thinks this is a total disaster. But TJ, he's actually into it and just laughs. How can you even ride with that leg? Beating you will be a walk in the park. Challenge accepted. TJ suggests a 3 versus 3 team race. The rules are set, 3 riders per side. Whoever loses has to pack up and quit. Mew is confident. I will take on all 3 of you by myself. June isn't having it. She insists on joining. She knows Mew's leg cannot handle a solo sprint against a team. Nobody else steps up. It is officially Sunny High versus the guys from Mountain High. TJ starts laughing again. Anyone else want to join the losing team? Any more volunteers? If you are ready to get kicked out with them, feel free to sign up now. Only silence follows, so it is settled. The big showdown is Sunny High versus Mountain High. TJ is thrilled. A 2 against 3 race. This is going to be an easy win. The tension is thick. Mew, TJ, and June just stare each other down. We can feel it. Meanwhile, back at school, things are pretty dull. Boredom is literally putting students to sleep. One student drifts off into a wild dream. He sees a massive dragon appearing before him. He gathered the magical spheres, and now, the dragon of the spheres has finally emerged. It can grant any wish. Naturally, he wishes for the perfect body, Chris Hemsworth level. The dragon says that is an easy fix. Just eat this specific mushroom and watch it happen. He takes a bite. Suddenly, he is in pure agony, but his entire body changes. The transformation is complete. Now, everywhere he goes, girls are losing their minds over him. He is a total heartthrob now. Tall, handsome, and wearing a classic Chesterfield coat. The coat gives him a perfect slim silhouette, but it hides a muscular physique underneath. Every girl is staring. They want a man just like him. Just look at that posture. Does he have a girlfriend? Everyone wants to know. He plays it smooth like a gentleman. I could charge you for every heartbeat. He is that confident, and they would probably pay. They are all over him, pulling him close so he can hear their hearts beating. It is a symphony of heartbeats. He is so comfy that he is actually drooling. He is snoring and drooling all over his school desk. Then, a voice calls his name. Slowly, the dream fades. He opens his eyes to see his classmate, back to reality. He is genuinely annoyed that it was just a dream. Shin-young asks what is wrong. He mumbles something about girls and heartbeats. She looks at him like he is crazy. He brushes it off. It was nothing. He just thanks her for the milk she brought. She brought him a carton, but then he calls her Little Water again. That nickname always brings her down. He chugs the milk, imagining the calcium making him taller. Gotta get those height gains. Suddenly, a friend approaches. Let's see what happens next. All right, you and I are starting with a rough, friendly headlock out of nowhere. The shock makes him choke, wasting most of the milk he was drinking. Nearby, a guy tries to flirt, but another girl blocks his path completely. He watches the drama unfold, filming every awkward second for his own entertainment. Passing through the crowd, June and Mew discuss their next move together. Mew's goal is simple: win the race and kick TJ out of their group. His friend worries, though. How can Minu pull this off with a broken leg? Mew just laughs it off. His doctor actually recommended light cycling for recovery. Still, a little cycling won't prepare them for a high-stakes race like this. Plus, with the relay format, the team is at a massive disadvantage. His friend suggests reaching out to Jay, the student council president, for help. Mew hates the idea. He's done involving Jay and their team's messy business. While they argue, Jay himself is stuck in class, looking completely bored. He's just doodling little bicycles in his notebook when someone approaches his desk. Our student council president is interrupted when someone drops an envelope on his desk. Looking up, Jay realizes it's Mia, who's watching him with a very stern expression. She tells him it's for his injury. Clearly, she's more worried than she lets on. Jay, being Jay, coldly states he never asked her for any favors. Furious at his attitude, Mia slams the desk. She's not having his cold behavior. She demands he show some gratitude when a girl actually tries to help him. Her friend Yuna has been worried sick all morning after seeing his bruises. Mia is mortified by Yuna's blunt comments. Things are only getting worse. Then, Dom Kang bursts in, greeting Jay with a heavy-handed slap to the back. He puts Jay in a headlock, asking why he looks so exhausted today. Yuna is stunned. Since when were these two guys actually friends? Dom Kang jokes that they bonded over a computer screen. Modern friendship, right? Neither Yuna nor Mia have any idea what that's supposed to mean. Suddenly, a student interrupts, saying a senior wants to see Jay in the hall. Dom Kang teases Jay about his growing popularity before heading over to Yuna. Yuna immediately showers him with affection. The rumors are spreading fast. People are whispering that these two have finally started dating. It is getting weird. While the girls gossip, they fail to notice a third-year student standing right there. They freeze in embarrassment when they realize it's June, the handsome upperclassman. June just smiles it off. As the girls leave, they whisper about his looks. One mentions a rumor that he's not interested in girls at all. June overhears and cringes. That's definitely not the reputation he wanted. His mood shifts instantly when he spots Jay's battered and bruised face. June puts the pieces together. No wonder Mew was so furious with TJ earlier. Jay just stares back blankly. June wonders if Jay even remembers him from before. Does this kid have trouble recognizing faces? June isn't taking any chances. He spends the next 5 minutes carefully reintroducing himself to the confused Jay. It works. Jae finally remembers their previous meeting and nods in recognition. Jun admits he's here for a favor after seeing what happened to Jae's face. He reveals Mu's plan, but admits he didn't really want to drag Jae into it. Jun doesn't want to involve Jae in these messy team affairs anymore. Smart move. None of it mattered now, but Jun couldn't just walk away. Jae, ever blunt, shut him down. He was done with the crew. Jun, desperate, tried to explain that things were totally rigged. If Minwoo lost this, he was out, expelled from his very own team, just like that. Jae just shrugged, why should he care? But Jun wouldn't quit, giving him the details. Tonight, 8 p.m., same spot as last time. The stage was set for a massive showdown. If you change your mind, we will be there. Jun left the offer hanging in the air. The racetrack was buzzing. Everyone who was anyone had already shown up to watch. Who is taking the win? That is all anyone could ask. One loss means you are gone. Tension was through the roof. Meanwhile, Jun sat alone on a bench, tightening his laces. Mu looked way too relaxed. He called out to Jun, saying it was time to move. We are 8 minutes past the start time. The clock was ticking and the pressure was on. Jun kept checking the distance. Was Jae really going to ghost them when it mattered? Without Jae, they were doomed. Over at the starting line, TJ's crew looked smug. 3 racers versus 2. The math was not in Jun's favor, and TJ knew it. Jun spotted something new. TJ actually added a brake to his bike. Smart move for once. Guess the last crash scared him. Jun also noticed that fancy 8mm carbon wheel. TJ didn't care. He started his usual trash talk, aiming right at Mu's weak spot. Mu, you haven't touched a bike in years. TJ laughed, making sure everyone heard him. Take it easy, old man, or you will break your other leg too. The disrespect was real. Mu had heard enough, let's just ride. But before the signal, something caught their eyes. The rules were being read, but suddenly, every single head turned toward the road. A girl on a scooter came flying in. She definitely knew how to make an entrance. She pulled off her helmet, breathless. Glad I made it, she said, looking around. Meet Harry Lee. She wasn't just some random fan either. She was there for work. She is a famous commentator for Paprika TV. This race was about to go viral fast. She had heard the rumors and had to see it. When she finally revealed her face, every guy there started blushing. She was stunning, and she had a special request. Can I live stream this? She asked. Mu, being the smooth talker he is, stepped up. It would be an absolute honor, he told her. TJ was actually thrilled about this. He couldn't wait to humiliate Mu in front of thousands. Harry checked her signal. Connection looks good. The stream went live, and viewers started flooding in immediately. Everyone was hooked. A high-stakes race where the losers lose everything. Talk about drama. The official, who had been totally distracted by Harry, finally got back to business. Listen up, it is a standard relay race. You will be passing a baton. Well, sort of. Forget wooden sticks. Today, we are using these high-tech LED bracelets for the handoffs. Just slap it on. With enough pressure, it locks right onto your wrist. Simple, right? He showed them exactly where to press. One mistake and the race is over. Drop the bracelets at the checkpoints. First team to finish the relay wins it all. If you fumble the handoff, you are toast. This is all about speed and precision. Don't forget the losers are out. Gone. The official looked at the team leader. Are you really ready for this? The leader just stared back, looking a bit confused. 3 against 2 is hardly a fair fight, but nobody seemed to care. Stop whining about the numbers, the leader snapped. This isn't about being fair. If they have more people, so what? Just ride. No excuses when this is over. No regrets, no complaints. Let's go. And with that, the most intense race began. All right, one member from each squad steps up, sliding their armbands into place. It is Mina versus TJ. Sparks fly as they both grab for those armbands. Harry Lee is live, telling her fans the Sunny High rivalry is finally peaking. She is filming everything, ready to share every twist with her eager viewers. TJ is itching to teach those losers from the rival school a lesson. First up for Mountain High is Hyung Min, facing off against Jun. Mu notes the track is full of curves. No easy bike advantage today. Jun is worried. Can his injured leg survive those final 2 brutal stretches? The big question, June has no clue where TJ is in the lineup. Since they are out of options, Jun's buddy steps in for the first leg. June tells him not to push too hard. He is already prepared for everything. The riders line up. Those on the sidelines are glued to their phones. Harry gets into her position, camera lens focused and ready to record. The rule is simple. The second that gear hits the ground, the race starts. The starter holds the gear delicately by the edges, letting it fall slowly. Clink, the gear touches the pavement, and the racers explode forward. It is a brutal start, but June is performing surprisingly well out there. Harry Lee is right in the action, helmet cam capturing every high-speed detail. Blue armbands for Mountain High, red for Sunny. The bright colors are easy to spot. Right then and there, Mountain High makes their big move and takes the lead. Check this out, comments are flooding the stream from fans watching everywhere. Back at the finish, the crowd is watching the broadcast with bated breath. Jun is pushing hard, but he just lacks Mew's natural skill for this. His rival from Sunny High starts taunting him. Is that all you have got? The Sunny High rider pushes his limits, desperately trying to close that gap. Why is June so quiet? His rival suspects a secret plan is unfolding. The crowd watches closely as every pedal stroke pushes the bikes forward. Jun is struggling to keep pace without Mew's natural talent to back him up. The rival from Sunny High taunts him, asking if this is really his limit. Despite seeing Jun's intense effort, the competitor tries his best to close the gap. The Sunny High rival suspects a trap, since June is staying completely silent. Deciding to pull away, the rival chooses to widen the gap even more. He starts pedaling much faster now, desperate to maintain his lead at the front. He is pushing himself to the max, but the second-place rider isn't falling behind. Even though he is still ahead, the pressure of the race is getting intense. It feels like the second-place racer could overtake him at any given moment. That is when he realizes the guy behind him is using a slipstream. June might be quiet, but he definitely has some clever strategies in play. Harry, the commentator, also spots the slipstream and explains it to the fans. She tells her audience that this technique breaks the wind for the follower. In racing circles, this resistance-reducing move is known as drafting or cycling. The commentator calls it an incredibly brilliant move for a high school race. Everyone watching believes Jun is just biding his time behind the leader. He is waiting for the perfect moment to use his secret technique. Even so, pulling ahead of Jun is not going to be an easy task. Piece of cake, not quite. After Hyung Min, everyone thought this was impossible. But then, the rival racer was betting everything on that final hill. He thought conditions favored him. As the Sunny High ace blew past June, he actually thanked him for the draft. Cold. June's rival was fuming, but it wasn't just the trash talk, the overtake itself was what stung. That move changed everything. Suddenly, Sunny High was sitting pretty in the lead, absolute madness. Now it came down to pure muscle. The leader didn't hesitate for a single second. He kicked into a heavier gear, pedaling with every ounce of energy left in him. The pack behind him saw the shift. They knew he was going all out now. The announcement boomed, red armband Sunny High, they'd taken the lead. Can you believe this? Talk about a shocker. Sunny High's racer just gapped his rival on that tough uphill climb. Mountain High's competitor started fading fast. On this incline, there was simply no keeping up. That gap was getting massive, too big to bridge with so little time left to race. Online, June's friends were losing it. They thought he looked absolutely incredible out there. Meanwhile, the rival in second place was stunned. How did June climb that fast? Unbelievable. Further ahead, the next pair of racers were already in position for the final leg. The roar of Harry Lee's scooter echoed through the air. They were nearing the finish. Minwoo suggested they get ready. He even wished his opponent luck. Talk about confidence. He really believed his rival could catch up, or maybe he was just playing mind games. Minwoo had no clue. He didn't even realize who was actually leading the pack. Mew asked Jiwon if his teammate could actually pass June. He was about to find out. Then the nightmare began. Mew saw it with his own eyes. It wasn't his teammate. It was June. June pointed ahead, and Mew's heart sank as he spotted the approaching racer. Juwon was shaken. This was a total disaster for their team's chances at victory. June was in the lead alone. There wasn't another soul in sight behind him. Mew watched with pride. He knew what June was capable of, and June, he just smiled. Fueled by that energy, Mew turned to his rival. We're hitting the finish line soon. June ripped off his bracelet, ready to pass the torch to his teammate. Let's go. June wished Mew luck and watched him blast off. They were determined to win this. The commentator screamed. Sunny High's second racer had the bracelet. They're in the lead now. Their friends watching the stream were hyped. If Mew kept this pace, he'd be the winner. Harry was right there on her scooter, tailing Sunny High's second racer through the course. She saw it clearly. He was miles ahead. The competition wasn't even in the same zip code. Any second now, he'd enter the third and final stretch. The tension was off the charts. The whole team was watching. They noticed how fast he was moving. He was flying. They knew Mew and June were a dangerous duo, and boy, were they proving it. Meanwhile, June was nursing an energy drink, but he wasn't celebrating. He was deep in thought. He just hoped his friend wouldn't overdo it. That injury was a ticking time bomb. The thought haunted him. He couldn't forget the accident that wrecked Mew's leg back then. Those memories were heavy. But then, as he sat down, he saw a familiar face. He couldn't shake the past. That injury was a dark cloud over everything. But as he sat there, he spotted someone familiar standing right in front of him. Back in the race, Minwoo was giving it everything. If he lost, June was out. He knew the stakes, but then his leg started throbbing with agonizing pain. The pain was blinding. Over at the handoff spot, TJ waited with bated breath. TJ's anxiety was mounting. He was ready, but the tension was reaching a breaking point. It is so frustrating when people start claiming you will be the one kicked off the team. The rivals were leading, and TJ was absolutely furious. He knew they were loving this. TJ thought his own teammate was finally approaching to hand off the relay bracelet, or so he believed. But then he saw it, a red bracelet. It was not his teammate, but the competition pulling away with a massive gap. Everyone saw that his speed was insane, like a motorbike rather than a bike. TJ was fuming at his teammate, who was late and making this race so much harder. Far behind and exhausted, the teammate was gasping and barely pedaling his bike. You and I know everyone was on their phones. Many people watched the live stream, seeing that Sunny School had finally reached the final stretch. Mountain School's team was still lagging behind, watching the race while drying off after a shower to stay updated. The commentator saw the gap between teams was widening. This pleased Mew's old friend, who still held onto their bond. On the road, Mew pedaled through pure, agonizing pain. At one point, Mew spotted a cat mid-road playing with a ball, too late to stop. As he tried to swerve, he overexerted his leg and aggravated the injury. Without any support, Mew hit the ground with a sickening, harsh crash. The commentator told the world everything, and the live stream viewers were horrified. Jun was devastated, while Mew, lying there, realized it was over. The commentator rushed in to provide first aid and announced that the broadcast would be temporarily paused right now due to the crash. She cut the stream, leaving everyone in total suspense. Jun knew Minwoo should never have raced with that injured leg. Unaware of the crash, TJ was pedaling fast, thinking he could still win. But look at this, to his shock. TJ saw the bike, Mew on the ground, and the woman helping him. It was a perfect moment for TJ, who actually started to smile. He knew this was coming. From the start, racing on that leg was a massive risk, and TJ felt his luck was unmatched. Mew on the ground struggled to see. Slowly, his blurry vision began to clear. Harry Lee asked if Mew could stand. Looking over, Mew saw Jay, who asked what he was doing on the pavement. Mew told him there was no need to stare, and just send the message already. Jay reached down and took the bracelet from Mew's arm. Mew and the commentator were stunned. But then, Jay placed the bracelet on his own arm. He had already left food for his brother, along with a note saying he had gone out to fix his bike. Still, his younger brother seemed to know exactly what Jay was doing. Jun explained the course to Jay, but Minwoo kept saying he didn't need to go. Jay said it wasn't a misunderstanding. He had business to settle. Minwoo knew that was a lie and forced a smile. You and I see it. Minwoo knew that was all a lie, so he just flashed a fake smile. Minwoo shouts to Jae, tossing him the helmet. Time to teach those losers a lesson. A real lesson. Jae eyes the gear, doubting if he even needs to wear it. It is sweaty and smells pretty bad. Minwoo sees the hesitation and starts complaining. He claims his own helmet is fine, but Jae's, that one is unbearable. June sees they're well enough to argue and decides to stay put for now. She gets ready to rejoin the race, but as she reaches for her scooter, there it is, the bike she recognized from earlier that day. Way ahead, TJ is actually singing as he nears the finish line. He thinks this whole race is a total breeze, way too easy. He is not even mad at Minwoo anymore. Honestly, he just feels bad for him. Minwoo shouldn't have raced while injured. Now, TJ is stuck riding all alone. It is kind of boring finishing solo. Meanwhile, Minwoo is suddenly acting all cheerful. He knows TJ should be terrified. Why? A monster is right on his tail. TJ feels it. He cannot believe a cyclist is actually gaining on him. That speed is monstrous. Then he looks back and finally realizes who it is. It is Jae. TJ's eyes go wide. What on earth is he doing here? Suddenly, he realizes this race isn't going to be as easy as he thought. He starts pedaling desperately. If he doesn't, it is all over. The other school might actually win. Jae's skill, it is pure beast mode. TJ feels like he is being hunted. Jae is coming for him like a mad dog. The finish is so close. He has come too far to lose everything now. He is sure Jae will not pass him on the upcoming downhill section. To win this, he just needs to stay ahead through the descent. The pressure is insane. TJ is sweating bullets, sticking to his plan. He pushes forward exactly, as planned the moment he hits the slope. But it is never that simple. The second he starts flying down the hill, bad memories flash through his mind. That old accident, it is back. Fear of another crash hits him hard. He hits the brakes, losing his lead. There goes his advantage. Meanwhile, Jae, he is a complete beast on the descent. For this guy, brakes do not exist. Literally, his bike does not even have them. Not that he cares, Jae just pulls off a crazy rock walk move. A 180-degree drift while flying downhill. Pure madness. Just routine for a guy like Jae. He finishes the move effortlessly. He blasts ahead, leaving TJ in the dust. TJ is beyond furious. One mistake and he is done, kicked off the team. The pressure is on. Then Jae just stops. He sighs and pulls over right in front. He is just watching TJ, waiting for him. TJ screams, demanding to know his plan. He tells Jae to get the hell out of his way. Jae does not move. He just stares. Panicked, TJ slams on the brakes, praying he can actually stop. He is trying to avoid a collision, but he cannot. Jae, still frozen. Zero emotion on his face. TJ stops just centimeters away from a crash. TJ is absolutely livid. He asks if Jae has completely lost his mind. To stop like that is insane. But Jae, he says he is only here because TJ kicked his bike yesterday. Then Jae drops a question that stuns him. He is stunned. Jae is here to finally settle the score. All right, you and I are about to see who was truly fast. Jae was more than ready. Jae wanted to return the favor. He called for a no-rules sprint to the very end. He challenged TJ to prove that expensive carbon bike was as fast as it looked. TJ laughed it off as a joke. No way that junk could beat his lightweight ride. Jae didn't blink. He warned TJ not to go blaming the gear when this ends. He should blame himself. TJ, hating that cocky tone, told Jae to just shut up. The two riders got into position, ready to settle this grudge match on the road. They exploded off the line. Both were determined to go full throttle right from the start. They wanted to leave the other behind. At first, TJ's carbon bike was slightly ahead. He led by mere millimeters. TJ smiled as Jae lagged, but Jae was only warming up. The real race was starting. Jae put insane power into his pedals, building massive momentum. He overtook TJ instantly. TJ couldn't believe he was losing to this mystery guy. This guy was stealing his victory. Meanwhile, the team saw Minwoo and June finally returning. They asked if Minwoo was okay. They wondered if his condition was really that bad. Mew felt terrible about ruining the race, admitting his injured leg just wasn't healed yet. June reminded Mew that he'd warned him. Pushing his leg like that was completely irresponsible. Looking downcast, Mew acknowledged the truth. Racing with an injured leg had been a mistake. Harry Lee noted that Mew was lucky he wasn't hurt worse after crashing so hard. TJ's teammates thought they'd won. Then they saw someone else approaching alongside Jay now. The mystery person carried a red flag. This left them wondering who this rider could be. Their team only had 2 official members. No one knew of any others on the roster. Jay had taken a dominant lead. There was absolutely nothing TJ could do to win. For TJ, this was the end. Everything was lost as he watched his victory vanish. He couldn't grasp why his expensive bike had failed against that piece of old junk. At the finish line, shock set in. Everyone finally recognized the person with the flag. It was the student council president, someone most people considered to be quite unfriendly. Protests erupted immediately. People claimed it was unfair since the race was 3 versus 2. Jay crossed the line with total indifference. His face showed he didn't care about the drama. Meanwhile, TJ was crushed. He had lost to the same person once again, feeling dejected. Jay pulled off his helmet. He coldly commented that the junk clearly wasn't his bike. TJ was absolutely infuriated. He took the comment to mean that he was the junk. TJ looked ready to fight. People reminded him that Jay wasn't even on the team. Nobody understood why this outsider had joined the Sunny School team for the race. Interference from a non-member seemed wrong. It made no sense to join the competition now. Mew spoke up to clarify. He'd accepted the 3 versus 2 terms from the start. He added that the moment he fell off his bike, the race was already over. Smiling, Mew told TJ there was no need to say all of those things. He was finished with the excuses. Mew slowly reached for the emblem on his jacket. He simply tore the team emblem off. The crowd watched in shock at his decision. He threw the emblem to the ground. The message was clear, he was done with them. Mew turned his back on his teammates, signaling the end of their alliance for good. He had accepted the 3 versus 2 race terms, regardless of the final result. For Mew, the race ended when he fell. There was nothing more to be said. He told TJ to stay quiet. The defeat was final, and words wouldn't change that. He dropped the emblem in the dirt, leaving the team and his past behind him. All eyes were on Mew. Some felt pity, others thought he went too far. He had crossed a line. Before leaving, Minwoo hoped they were finally happy. He asked them to protect the team. Mew glanced at his friends, feeling helpless. He knew he was done. June touched his shoulder as they walked away together. The loss stung. Mew felt the weight of defeat, but June stayed with him. Since Minwoo was out, June left too. For her, leaving was no problem. They had each other. A new team was on her mind. Then Jay tossed a helmet. Mew caught it smoothly. He thanked Jay for having his back during the race. Jay did not say a word. He just turned his back and rode away. Mew realized Jay had not changed at all. Meanwhile, Harry Lee noticed something strange. She recognized that bike. It belonged to someone she knew well, a real mystery. Mew limped forward, his leg throbbing. June offered to take him back home. Mew snapped back, insisting he was not a child. He just wanted to go home. Even though he won, TJ was not celebrating. This victory felt like a defeat. The sting of loss haunted him. His friends called out, but TJ was miles away. He was drowning in his own thoughts. The humiliation was eating him alive. He could already hear the whispers about his loss, a nightmare he could not escape. Someone walked up, mocking the sour look on his face. TJ was ready to fight. He stood up fast but stopped cold. It was Vinny Hong, his old friend. Vinny asked if he was the idiot trying to challenge him. TJ's anger vanished. It had been forever. TJ smiled, asking his old friend what he was doing there. Vinny joked around, asking if he needed a permit to show up here. TJ laughed it off, clearly glad. Vinny mentioned he had been watching the race. He noticed Mew's leg seemed fine, but TJ's friends called Minwoo a total loser. His leg was fine, but they laughed, calling Minwoo a total fool now. They won the race. As agreed, Mew was now officially kicked off the team. Vinny laughed, saying that once the cat is away, the mice start to play. The rivals seemed decent. Vinny noted that Minu's team was finally dead and buried. There was nothing left. Meanwhile, TJ realized Mew was not his problem anymore. There was nothing left. Meanwhile, TJ realized Mew was not on his team anymore. Vinny was curious. From what he saw, Mew's performance was actually quite impressive. Still, he warned Mew to watch that leg. Then Vinny announced he was quitting. Then Vinny dropped a bombshell, he was quitting his team. This left TJ stunned. He was confused, unable to grasp the meaning. Later, they arrived back home. Mew was drowning in regret. Losing the race and his team was too much. He felt like an outcast. If only his leg had not failed him then. If only his leg had not failed. Suddenly, his parents arrived and he froze. He met his father's gaze. His father immediately yelled, demanding to know everything. He was supposed to be studying. His father demanded to know what was happening. His stepmother tried to play peacemaker, calling it just a bit of rebellion. Then she saw the cut on his face. She asked how he had gotten hurt. She stepped closer, reaching out to check the wound. Did he fall again? Without thinking, Mew snapped. He told his stepmother to get her hands off him. She was shocked by his rudeness, especially with his father standing right there. His father's temper flared. Now, he was ready to discipline his son properly. His father lands a punch, calling him nothing but a thug. He yells that Mew needs to show some respect as the eldest son. But Mew, he's completely done caring. He snaps back, accusing his stepmother of just being a gold-digging snake. Enraged, his father screams that he's a spoiled brat who only cares about money. He even brings up the bike he bought him. Then the ultimate power move. Shouting, Mew's father demands every single credit card and his wallet right then and there. In total defiance, Mew slams the wallet down. He doesn't need his father's blood money. Those words were the final straw. His father, now beyond frustrated, snaps. He kicks him out on the street. Meanwhile, his twin sister watches from above, her heart breaking. Seeing her family fall apart like this is pure agony. She pulls away from the window, whispering that it's all her fault. Elsewhere, in a dark corner, we see Minu standing near a vending machine. Mew sits on a bench, bike by his side, realizing he has nowhere to go. Today was a total disaster. No money, kicked off the team, and now homeless. To make things worse, a happy family walks by, laughing and full of joy. Seeing those kids reminds him of the good times with his mom and sisters. Thinking of his mother's smile is the only thing keeping him together right now. He and his twin were inseparable. He'd promised to protect them all, no matter what. Back then, he was just a kind kid, living in a home filled with love. But now, all Minu can do is sit there by his bike and break down. Tears stream down his face, as the weight of everything finally crashes into him. Suddenly, he hears the clatter of a drink falling from the vending machine nearby. He looks up to find someone staring right at him with a cold expression. The guy sarcastically asks if he's really crying like a baby over a loss. Mew chokes back a sob, insisting that he's definitely not crying. Yeah, sure, buddy. The guy gives him a look of pure disbelief before turning to leave. But Mew is desperate. He needs a favor, and he needs it now. He manages to stop him. The guy just sighs, asking what he wants this time. Mew puts on his best smile, asking if he can crash at his place tonight. Silence, the guy just walks away without saying a single word. Talk about cold. Mew follows him, pleading that it's just for one night. He's literally got nothing. The guy doesn't even flinch. Not my problem, he says, walking even faster. Mew stares at him like he's looking at a heartless demon in human skin. But Minu keeps pushing, promising he won't ask again. Jay finally stops, though. He explains he has to study, and tells Mew to go find some other friend to bother. Mew's voice drops. He admits he has absolutely no one else left to call. Jay makes it crystal clear, he isn't that person either. The truth really hurts, huh? That's when it hits Minu. They're just schoolmates, not friends, not even close. He's completely alone. No team, no home, and now, no one to help him. Every person who ever approached him only cared about his family's status and money. Looking around, he realizes not a single soul ever genuinely cared about him. To them, he was just the son of a wealthy, powerful businessman. Period. People stayed close for the perks, and Mew, he learned to wear a mask too. Mew learned to wear a mask too. His father's world was always fake. It was a world of lies. This was the only reality Mew ever knew. He learned to hide his real self behind a million different masks. Since he was a kid, taking off the mask only ever led to loneliness. But little Mew found an escape from the dark. He got himself a bicycle. That bike was his sanctuary. Soon, he was obsessed with the ride. He even started his own crew. At first, it was just friends riding. They called themselves Team Zephys. They just loved the wind. But then, tragedy. Mew lost his team. Everything went downhill, and then the rain started pouring down. Suddenly, he spotted a tiny cat shivering in the cold, soaked to the bone. He looked closer and froze. He'd definitely seen this cat somewhere before. Was this the same cat that caused his accident? We're about to find out. Parts that aren't quite right, so after that, when everything is ready, inserting the right images and syncing the audio together, then we proceed to export the video for publishing. So this is the process that I create a complete video. Therefore, I really hope that the YouTube support team reconsiders their decision. Check if there are any mistakes anywhere to help us return to the program earning money from YouTube. I sincerely thank you.